Tip Tuesday this week is about our rowing. Engine Day Wednesday this week. We've been getting into rowing a few weeks ago that we set a 5K. There's three options here. We did a 5K, either 4K, or some people did 20 minutes of rowing to find a pace that is going to be used in workouts like this and to understand, utilize the monitor, and just better your performance with the row, and also to utilize it when it comes time to use it with other movements in workouts. So we have an average pace that we've been using, and with this, we want to be consistent with it so that we can always feel this pace. We will be going through and kind of varying how we utilize this to better our pace so that we can retest one of these in the future and definitely see improvement upon it. So this is the screen we want to look at when we're using the rower this Wednesday. This is going to give us the most information, and I'm going to explain what we want to focus on with this. Those that did the engine specialty class at the end of last year really benefited from being able to see and utilize this a lot more. So part one of the engine workout for Wednesday is 22.5 minutes. 6 sets of 3 minutes of work, 45 seconds of rest. So we're building off of last week. Last week was a 2:30 on and 30 off. So if you were able to hold that, you're going to have an opportunity to go a little bit longer, get a little bit more rest. If you're unable to hold that, we may need to adjust our pace a little bit, or maybe you were not holding your pace properly, you went a little too fast. So this is going to definitely keep us a little more honest. So with this, we want to keep strokes per minute 20 to 24, and this is where we're going to see that in this screen, the top right. So we definitely want to focus on strokes per minute. That's a big one. So as you'll see the time count down here for both the work and the rest as we set up the monitors. Your pace per 500, a lot of us look here at that bigger number, but that's in the moment. And that's not necessarily the most accurate one. The more accurate one is going to be below that thicker line in the middle of the screen. It's going to be right here, and that's your overall pace per 500 meters. So this may be different, and what we want to avoid is trying to play that catch up and trying to bridge the gap by the end of the interval. What ideally you want to do is get this pace and this pace to match up in the early part of that 3 minute interval, and then just maintain it the long way instead of trying to catch up and get there by the end of it. So a little bit of a sprinter start helps, and then just making sure you're utilizing the muscles needed in the row. So utilizing those hamstrings, those glutes, to be able to create the power in your stroke. Split meters we're not necessarily concerned with for this particular interval, but then the projected finish, you're going to be able to see how many meters that you collect. So as we're into the third, the fourth, fifth, and whatnot, you're going to see, are you right on track with the first few rounds? And if you're keeping your strokes per minute consistent, if you're keeping that overall pace consistent, you're going to be right there. And a number of people saw that last week, which they become right on target within like 1 or 2 meters every single round, and that keeps you really, really consistent. If you're able to do this, you're going to be very successful going forward with the following workouts in weeks to come, when we kind of tweak this and say, if your pace is, for example, a 2:05 on average, we need to keep here, and ideally keep here the whole way as well. All right, we're going to play with, all right, a certain amount of time you're going to try to keep it a 2 minute pace, and other times keeping it 2:10, and the strokes per minute is going to vary a little bit. So if we're going 20 to 24, we're going to look to go a little higher on the strokes per minute to get a faster pace. So maybe we're not going too far into that high 20s, but up there, and then somewhere lower. So we're still generating power, but we're not having wasted strokes. So that's to come next week. We want to focus on this right now and understand how to utilize the monitor best.